You're gonna lift the 400 ounce bar right now.
All right, let's see if we ate our wheat bix today.
So yep, ate a wheat bix today. How does it feel? So same as the one in the vault, right? Same thing.
Yeah, there's a bit of weight in that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it tells you, 1.7.
Yeah. So this is a live counter that we'll keep running and we'll update as we go.
So that'll buy you a condo in downtown Singapore?
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
Welcome back to Offshore in Asia, guys. We are in Singapore today, where we're having a sit-down interview with Crenshaw from Bullion Star. He has been kind enough to agree to having a chat with us. We're going to talk about what's involved if you want to offshore your bullion and store it in Singapore. What's the details around privacy? What is reported to the government? What are the taxes, CGT, duties, and all that kind of stuff. If you're interested, or if you're curious about using offshore bullion storage with a private vault in somewhere like Singapore, this might be a video that could be worthwhile watching for you. We'll leave it there. Let's get into the interview. Okay, Crenshaw. So first of all, thank you very much for letting us come into the facility today and having a look around and showing us all the gold and explaining to us how things work here. But we're going to get into a bit more detail now of how things can work here, how people can get involved, and just some of the main questions that might come up for people who are interested in storing bullion offshore in Singapore. Potentially people that probably don't live here. They might be in the US, they might be in the UK, Australia, and that sort of thing. So first off, if you could tell us a little bit about the Bullion Star company, what services you offer here in Singapore, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, sure. So we've been around for about 13 years, and then I think the key thing is that back in 2012, Singapore removed the sort of GST requirement on investment precious metals, bullion.
Yep.
So that made the landscape a lot more friendly for that, and so we also then opened our first physical location here in Singapore.
Okay.
So we offer a complete sort of solution for precious metals. People can buy with us, they can sell to us, and importantly, especially now, they can store with us. And we own, we have our vault that is at 45 Newbridge Road, which is the Bullion Center, and we also have this facility. Which
so there is an actual vault out there at the shop.
Yes, there is a vault there. So that's where we have sort of day-to-day products that we're selling, because when you buy a product there, it comes from a vault, because that's how you keep things safe, right?
Yeah.
So we have that as well, and then we have this facility as well, which we sort of just had a look at, and both are fully operated by our people, all our staff.
Yep.
So we also have a bullion savings program, which allows people to kind of buy 1 gram by 1 gram in tranches of gold and silver, and save money that way. And we also have auctions where people can buy, people can bid, and they can win sort of rare, good deals, really great deals on rare items, and products that we're overstocked on perhaps, and people can even win things at below spot prices.
Excellent. All right. Who is your typical client here? Obviously you've got individuals. Do you have sort of institutional investors or even family offices? I know Singapore is becoming a bit of a mecca for family offices now. Ray Dalio is a very famous one who set up his office in Singapore. Do you get sort of bigger institution, but also big money from very wealthy individuals offshore investing in Bullion Star as well?
So yeah, we serve a very wide range of clients, and as you say, I think individuals, institutions for sure. Definitely, we also have trusts that sort of put the money with us.
Yep.
Actually, one of our I would say a very large portion of the business actually does come from people buying from offshore and storing here with us. The very wide range of clients and individuals, institutions, trusts, and we have customers from over 126 countries and sort of growing. And I think a really big part of our customer base actually are people who they've never stepped foot in Singapore.
Yeah.
They sort of buy from where they are, buy for the jurisdiction in Singapore or the US with us or New Zealand with us, and they just store it here. And then when they're ready to sell, they sell it.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting, because the way I first found out about Bullion Star was from a friend of mine who bought here, and he's never been here.
Yep.
He just got on his computer in Australia and bought some bullion in Singapore.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting, but I thought I'd better go have a look for myself.
Yeah.
So that's when I first came here a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then really nice to come here today and see the real stuff. But it is something that, especially in you know, this day and age, maybe like, I don't know, sort of 15, 20 years ago, people would have been a bit hesitant about buying gold online, but these days people are pretty comfortable with that, aren't they?
Yeah, so we do have some customers who kind of email in and say, oh, I'm interested to buy, you know, how do I know you're legitimate, stuff like that. And, you know, we always...
That's fair enough.
That's fair enough.
It's big money.
Absolutely fair enough. And, you know, we always encourage them, yes, if you have time, come and visit us. We'd love to have you come to our shop, have a look around. We want you to feel comfortable.
Worth it. Spend a few days in Singapore.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can have a whole holiday in Southeast Asia while you're at it.
You can. And I think, you know, we do a lot to make sure that even the customers that can't visit us can sort of feel comfortable about it. You know, we have sort of 5 different audit methods for everything here. We've got the sort of third-party audit, which is by Bureau Veritas. We've got numerous internal audit systems. We've got a live audit system. We've got various things to make sure. And then, you know, as we'll talk about in the sort of storage, one of the things we do is when items are stored, you get a photograph of your actual item, you know, with your invoice, and that's uploaded to your account. So that's another way to kind of it's real. It's you can see it. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that's very important, especially for people who are doing it full remotely from the US or wherever. So if someone is going to buy some bullion here and do it remotely from overseas, what is the general process a new client would have to go through to open an account here with Bullion Star?
Okay, so the general process, firstly, it can be done entirely remotely, which I think is a big advantage for a lot of our clients overseas. So you start by, you create an account on a website. Just fill in the details, whatnot, and then when you start your account, you can immediately start purchasing. The way that it works with us is you can make a purchase online, and then the payment terms are sort of within 24 hours of that payment. So you can send us that money, and you initiate the payment within that 24 hours. You know, you send us the payment, you sort of proof of that payment, and we'll wait for the funds. And when you make a purchase on a website, that price that you lock in is locked in for you. So if the price goes up, then you're still locked in at that good price that you've got.
So it's like a contract, more or less.
Exactly.
Price could go up, price could go down, but you bought at that price.
Exactly.
Okay. And for people who are a bit more old school, you can come here and buy with cash, can't you?
Absolutely. So you can walk into the shop. You can say, I want a 1 ounce silver coin. Absolutely happy to help you. Let's get you that 1 ounce silver coin. Let's figure out which one you want, or you want a 100-gram gold bar. Absolutely fine too. Yeah, a lot of people, or some people just prefer buying in cash, and for some people it's more of a privacy issue as well. For sure.
It's everything is sort of like tracked these days. I mean, of course, everything is within the law. But people still do value privacy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once you've made the order, you've made the transfer of money. So we wait for the funds to come through. Once the funds come through, our vault team is notified, and they sort of gather your items. They take that picture, as we mentioned before, upload it to your account, and then your items are fully stored. Yeah.
And we've sort of touched on this before, but customers can come here even after they've bought, even if they bought online, they can come here a year later or whatever and withdraw and walk out with their bullion. Obviously, you'd have to probably give a few days notice to get it out of the vault.
Yes.
But that is possible?
That is absolutely possible. So definitely, withdrawing, you can, so customers will either they might choose to sell it and liquidate if that's what they're looking for. And then, we use the same methods of funds transfers, bank and so forth. Or if you want to withdraw, you can, let's say if you're overseas and you want to take your metals, absolutely do a withdrawal, and we'll set up the sort of shipping charges and all that. And it's all secure shipping and secure couriers that will get your metals to you. If you walk in and do it, as you said, probably give us a few days notice just so that we can make sure we get everything sort of gathered together for you, as opposed to it's sort of, it's sitting in the vault, so then you'll have to come back once we've brought it here for you.
Yeah, so I guess one thing that people have to be aware of, obviously there'd be a cost to that service with the couriering, and another thing, sometimes people ask, is it legal to transfer bullion across borders? It is, but the question is that you might have to pay duties on the other side, something like that, or GST, or...
Yes. Yeah. So, let's say that you've done a withdrawal and you say, I want to take my items, at 45 New Bridge Road, which is the Bullion Center. Then, we get your items out of the sort of this big storage vault, bring it there for you. If you've got a lot of items and you want to do a withdrawal here at the sort of big vault, the vault facility, you can do that. Sort of, again, let us know. We'll make an arrangement. We'll figure that out. Generally speaking, leaving Singapore, the metals leaving Singapore has never been a problem. You don't get hit really with anything because, as we say, investment metals here are tax-free. The only time is when customers from specific other countries, when they receive it, they might, if that country has taxes, then that's something they'll have to look at. It's
another issue, isn't it?
There is a sort of withdrawal fee of 129 Singapore dollars, just sort of per instance, and that just sort of covers,
cover
all
the wages.
Exactly.
Bit of security and
exactly.
Understandable. Okay, do you offer allocated or unallocated storage? And for the viewers, what is the difference between allocated and unallocated?
At Bullion Star, we offer allocated storage. We have two kinds of storage that we do. So this includes one, which is a pool allocated storage. So that's where we would consider our bullion savings program. So that's where you buy a certain amount of grams, and then that is backed physically by actual real metals that are here. And that's what we call so pool allocated. And then what I think a majority of our customers do is they buy a physical, let's say I've got this exact 1 kilogram bar that I'm buying, that's the bar we store for you. So that's the sort of fully allocated, segregated storage that people are usually more interested in, I think, actually.
I think so. And like you said at the start, you kind of answered that question where you said you show the photo of the actual bars that you bought, that it is allocated, it is segregated, and it's assigned to this, whatever the customer is.
And it's important to know that, for once you, in that scenario where you've bought a specific bar and you're storing it, we're acting just as your storage provider at that point. The bar is owned by you. It's fully owned by you, legally owned by you. And so, we don't offer unallocated storage, sort of paper gold, where you're buying sort of gold that is on paper, it's gold.
Which no one trusts anymore.
Which
people
no one
talk
really
about these ETFs that are supposedly backed by gold, but you can't take your ETF and pick up your bullion.
So with us, you can do that. Even with
that's one of the big things, isn't it? With physical bullion, that's sort of like the segregation, allocation is very important to people who want to do that.
That is very important, and this is part of what we do that we really believe in as well. That people want access to their gold, and that's really important. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially these days when everything's electronic and online and sort of very intangible. Just to have a nice tangible asset, something you can hold in your own hands. That's it's a nice thing indeed. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but I'll ask you anyway. Why is Singapore considered one of the best places, not just in Asia, but also in the world to store precious metals? I mean, a lot of people have heard of places like Switzerland, for example. It's a bit of a wealth hub. Singapore has very much become famous as a probably in the main. I mean, you got Hong Kong as well, but Singapore probably is the main place on this side of the world. But even on comparing it to places like Switzerland, it really does stand up as one of the premier wealth hubs in the world, doesn't it? So what do you think it is about Singapore that it is that way, that people really do trust the place to store their bullion?
So I think, talking about sort of the good points of Singapore, one of the things is it's very politically, sort of economically, socially stable country. One of the things it's really enjoyed, I think, is politically, it's seen sort of very, very good and continuity of, especially sort of the ruling sort of government party here has been in power basically since the founding of Singapore.
Right.
And so that sort of continuity just allows for kind of a longer term stability, a longer term sort of policy making thing where everything just is kind of it's good and it stays good
Yeah.
for longer. I think it's stable in that way.
Yeah. Is there an opposition?
There is an opposition.
Yep.
Yeah, there is an opposition, and so not getting into so much about sort of the
Yeah.
political systems here.
Won't spend too much time on it.
Everyone's going to have an opinion about it. And I think where regardless of how you feel about any of the politics here, I think the Singapore that exists today, it feels stable, and people come here and they see that it feels stable.
It does, and even
Yeah.
people from the outside looking in
Yeah.
seem to have those same feelings.
Singapore is also sort of a really good business hub, and it's a sort of, I think from a geographic location point of view, it's kind of a very natural trading hub, and sort of everywhere. It's got really good access to sort of many parts of the world, and many people come through here.
Absolutely.
So it's really good for that as well.
It's really strategic in Southeast Asia, isn't it? Because people are interested in Southeast Asia, but most of Southeast Asia isn't nearly as developed as Singapore. And people that are coming from, going to put money somewhere from the US or whatever, or Europe, doesn't matter. If they're going to put money in Asia, it needs to be somewhere that's pretty developed, somewhere that's pretty stable, and somewhere that they trust. And that seems to be Singapore that always comes up on top of that list.
Yeah. So even when you say compared to somewhere like Hong Kong, people tend to see Singapore as sort of more politically stable and more independent, I think.
Yeah.
So we do see that people are moving holdings out of Hong Kong due to sort of growing outside influence from that region. To put it that way. And I think, I think one of your questions was sort of compared to someone like Switzerland. Obviously, Switzerland is, sort of a classic place that you would think of. It's sort of the old guard, and it's been there for a long time. It's very stable, which is great. I think where people start to look at Singapore and go, oh, Singapore's interesting, is as we mentioned, it's a major travel and business hub, so you're likely to come through here at some point. And if you've got metals stored here, you might want to audit them, you might do something, you can come through, or even buy your metals in person. So we have no sort of import duties on taxes and investment grade bullion as well, which is great. As you mentioned, the modern infrastructure, and we've got facilities like this that can exist. And generally also, I think insurance premiums are quite much a bit lower here, especially that people like, because the country is so safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these days, a lot of people are looking for international diversification as well.
Yes.
They might already have money in Switzerland, they might already have money in the US. They want to move some money into Asia. And Singapore, well, it's usually Singapore or Hong Kong, isn't it? But like, both of these places have different pros and different cons, but for a lot of people, particularly coming from the Western countries, they just seem to prefer Singapore for a lot of the reasons we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Where do you see the future of gold and silver investment going in Asia over the next 5 to 10 years? And are you seeing an increase in demand over the last year or so?
So yes, I think the short answer is yes. We're kind of looking. I think the way that I look to answer this question is kind of, we don't really even need to wait for the next sort of 5 to 10 years. You can see the trends that are starting to happen now. So so for example, April was our best sales month ever,
right,
in recent times. And this is even following a January in which, January 2025, in which we saw, I think it was 176% year-on-year increase from the previous January. And then February again was another 81% increase. And then, April again increased, and it was one of the best months ever. So we think, I think it kind of, this growth reflects broader shifts in sort of currency devaluation, sort of rising debt, and sort of, I think, loss of sort of the kind of trust that people used to have in fiat-based systems, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we recently did an interview with Ronnie Stoffele. He does the In Gold We Trust report, very highly regarded. He was saying that, especially in Asia, many countries are starting to buy gold and sort of trade in gold.
Well, that is very interesting, especially coming from Australia.
Yeah.
It's more of a niche investment. And then you go, because I spent a lot of time in Thailand.
Yeah.
And in Thailand, it's like everyone working, all families own gold. That's how they store
It's a
the
culture,
world.
right?
Yeah,
It's an absolute culture.
It's like Asia seems to have a bit more of a gold culture compared to Australia anyway.
Yeah, and I know my parents keep gold. It's just the kind of thing that they do, and even on a sort of central bank level, a lot of countries within Asia, they're starting to buy gold, starting to have gold reserves because it's one of the assets that are really, really taken seriously on the international stage.
Yeah.
So
And that's something I've sort of talked about in other videos, that when the central banks are starting to buy gold, maybe we should take notice.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw that part in your video. Yeah, it's like, they're buying. We should notice that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, highly recommend checking out that interview. It's on our YouTube page. Lots of interesting insights.
In Gold We Trust?
Yeah. So my colleague Claudia was the one who did the interview with Ronnie, and we did it just after that report got released earlier in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a look. All right. So many of our viewers are concerned about privacy. So when a client opens an account, what kind of information is shared? I mean, obviously you've probably got some reporting you have to do. What information is shared with either the government or other agencies, not just in Singapore, but is there reporting back to the US with FATCA or CRS, the Common Reporting Standard, like you have? I mean, that's more bank account sort of stuff, but I guess, people want to know sort of how much information gets sort of fed up to the Singapore government and how much information gets fed off to foreign governments.
Okay, so when you sign up for an account, on the account sign up page, we ask you for, your name, your email, phone number, normal kind of everyday stuff.
Yeah.
That's all that you need to sign up. You just use that and you sign up. What we do is when there is a requirement for documentation, under law that we have to follow law, only at that point, then we'll ask, can you provide this documentation? Because we want to try and keep the burden as low as possible for our customers. And we don't report to any foreign agencies at all. So not, any requests can come from them. That's not for us, that we have to follow that. We don't have to give that information to anyone.
Yeah.
The only time that information is disclosed, and again, reiterating that there's no reporting, there's no standard every month we tell you how much this person owns gold. Yeah, none of that.
Yeah.
The only reporting we do, the only sort of rather disclosure of information to the authorities is when there is, for example, there's an active criminal investigation going on. At that point, then they will contact us to say we need this specific information. They need to show cause for why they need that, and then we'll provide only that information.
As you're required to by law.
As required to by law, exactly. And apart from that, yeah, we don't have to report anything.
Yeah, well, that's very nice. A lot of people, these days it's starting to get sort of quite difficult for people who want to open up bank accounts overseas, even in their home countries, and just sending money overseas with KYC and everything. It's very different now to how it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And to be able to sort of invest in an offshore jurisdiction like Singapore that has pretty easy access, minimal reporting unless required by law with a court case or something like that. It's a breath of fresh air to investors who, in places like Australia, the US, they just feel like the regulation is really bearing down on them in these places. So this is a very attractive quality to investing in Singapore.
So we definitely try to keep it as easy as possible,
No, that's nice. Okay, we've touched on some of this already regarding taxes like GST, duty, sales tax and whatever. You're probably not an accountant.
Nope.
I think I know the answer already anyway, but do you want to have a quick word about capital gains tax in Singapore when they sell their bullion?
So there's no capital gain. So in Singapore, as we mentioned, they don't charge GST, and there's no capital gains tax for selling your bullion within Singapore. You get your money back.
That is very nice. I mean, like in Australia, we have a capital gains tax. There's a discount on it if you've held it for a certain period of time. But there's sort of worry as well about these discounts being removed and wealth taxes being introduced and all these kinds of stuff happening in places like the Australia, the US. I think that's going to be very good for Singapore's business.
I mean, to be clear, there's no capital gains tax on precious metals when you're buying that here.
Okay.
And there's no sales tax. I will say that we do carry products that do have GST,
But so there's a distinction to be made between investment precious metals, which is what we think of as bullion,
Yep.
which are primarily investment products. Those have no GST. If you're buying, Spider-Man coin made in, made for the movie kind of thing, those generally tend to have GST.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So something to be aware of. And I should
Yeah.
make note as well that you might not have capital gains tax in Singapore, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have capital gain tax where you live.
Unfortunately,
So, yeah.
we can only do Singapore.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's something we work with our clients with about sort of structuring that way. So
yes,
it's an
yes.
important thing to be aware of, that there's always
is.
two sides to it, where your investment is and where you are a tax resident yourself.
Absolutely.
But
yes.
yeah.
No, for sure. That's
Yeah.
that's an absolute good point to make.
All right, cool. Moving along now. Can you tell us a little bit more about the security features of this facility?
So this facility, as you know, on the way in, you've experienced as well.
Yes.
You have the full sort of, as you would expect for such a secure facility, you have the sort of X-ray where you got to put what you're bringing through that.
Yeah.
You've got your, I believe it's called a milliwave scanner, so it's like what you go through at the airport. You make sure that sort of everything is all secure.
Yep.
And obviously, you're not going to get visitors randomly coming through. It's
You
always-
can't just walk in, can you?
you can't just
Yeah.
walk in. So, that's where, again, with the audit steps with our clients, they're welcome to audit. Do get in contact with us if you're going to do it, because they're not going to allow you to just walk in here.
Yeah.
We got to, we'll bring you in and
Yeah.
we'll bring you in as part of all the service that we provide.
Sure.
So, you got all the regular security. Each floor is also sort of, its own security systems.
Yeah.
And then, once you get to our vault, you're covered with, your motion sensors, your, glass break detectors, you've
Yeah.
got your cameras, your CCTV cameras,
State of the art.
all state of the art. You got, and all of that obviously, connected to your alarm system, and all that is fed directly to, our, what would you call it? Our security providers, who will then, are on watch,
Yeah.
24/7 to
Yeah.
make sure everything's happening, everything's going well, everything's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we were talking before the interview, this is a very high secure facility here, and it's not just Bullion Star. There's artwork, there's wine, there's a bunch
Yeah.
of companies that operate out of here,
Yeah.
and I guess like for these companies to sort of trust this place with, I don't know, there'd be probably billions of dollars worth of stuff in this
Probably,
building.
yeah. So I think the distinction that we want to also be quite clear is that within this facility, there's all of this kind of stuff going on, and like you mentioned, there are very expensive and rare wine collections.
You
and
mentioned
the
there
art
were some
collections.
Banksy paintings here.
Yeah, we've definitely seen sort of a Banksy once somewhere in sort of a secure art gallery at one point.
Yeah.
The distinction I do want to make, though, especially for Bullion Star customers, is this unit, which we operate as our vault, which again, every unit has its own highly secure entrance and everything. We operate this end to end, so it's not going to be a case where you store a Bullion Star and other people are handling your products. No, all our own people.
Yeah, that's important to know. I guess there's sort of two sides. There's like not having outside contractors, but also having a very secure complex as well that manages a lot of money here.
Yes.
From all around the world. From
Yes.
it has to be state of the art. There's no other way. Around
Absolutely, it has to be state of the art, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the vault insured? I mean, it's very secure, but insurance is probably important as well.
Yep.
So what kind of insurance, if you do have insurance, is offered to the clients?
So Bullion Star's operations are all completely insured, and everything from the shipping, everything from our transport, everything from the metals, the way it's stored here,
Yep.
all insured for full replacement value.
Yep.
So every single customer can go and download the actual insurance certificate, which is available, in their account. There's a link to it, which we think is really important for them to know that, and they can read the exact words and go, oh, I feel secure, because you can see it.
So what would happen in the unlikely event? I mean, we've just talked about how Singapore is very politically stable, but let's say, somewhere like Thailand comes to mind, for example, where they've had sort of military coups and stuff taking over. Oh no, that's not Singapore.
Yeah.
But let's just play a game here.
Yeah.
If something like that did happen, or if there was a financial crisis, we know there was a big crisis like in the late 90s. I don't know how badly Singapore was affected, but like a lot of Southeast Asia was affected in the financial crisis, the currency crisis in like 97, sometime around then, I think it was. And I guess sort of leading into sort of if there was some financial crisis, how safe are the customers' assets here? It's not like when you put your money in the bank, they lend it out to someone else, and then if you had $1 million in the bank, you can't just go take your $1 million out of the bank. They won't have it.
Yeah.
They might have it in a few days' time, but you can't just go take it.
Yeah.
Even these days, getting a bit off topic, but even these days, like in somewhere like Australia, even taking out small amounts of cash, they want to know what you're doing with it. It's your money.
Yeah.
But that said, getting back to the gold, it's always going to be here, isn't it? Like it's not like it's being lent out to other third parties or used as collateral for something.
Nope.
It is here. It's allocated. It's segregated. It's secure. But just gives a little bit of an understanding of how clients can trust the system either in some kind of I guess like sort of black swan event or like a big political event or a big financial event. How can they be sure that their assets will be safe here?
So it's always difficult to talk in hypotheticals. Yeah. I think sort of it bears repeating that the reason we've chosen Singapore is because of the political stability, because of the geographic stability, and because of the social security and financial stability too. I mean, the Singapore government itself is sort of buying gold as well, right? Yeah. But of course, we try to do everything we can to make sure that customers can feel safe, storing with us. Yeah. I think as mentioned earlier as well, we operate all our own operations, so it's not like you store it with us and we've got a third-party sort of storage provider that then we have to then jump through many hoops and no, everything is operated by us, and so you only have to deal directly with us. We're not dependent on someone else for that. So all the metals that are stored, again, when you've bought, especially the specific bar that you've bought, that's owned by you. There's no ambiguity about that. You are the owner of that bar. You're fully entitled to that bar. Yeah. And then everything that is stored is also fully insured. We have a great underwriter, global underwriter, and as we mentioned, you can download the certificate. And I think it's also the case where we really try to design everything around having no counterparty risk, as much control as you can. Our online platform is 24/7. You can go on there and you can withdraw your holdings, and obviously they'll need this time to do shipping and all that, but you can withdraw that anytime. You can sell that at any time. Hit any market sort of movement that you want. So we do as much as we can within sort of what can be done. Whatever can be done, we're doing it. To sort of help our customers feel really secure with storing with us, really comfortable with storing with us. Yeah,
and no country in the world is perfect. I mean, we just work with the options we have at hand, but as far as options we have at hand, Singapore is pretty good.
So if you're looking to sort of store gold outside of your own home country or sort of offshore, you're looking for diversification. We like to say, not putting all your eggs into one basket. And
especially not a Western basket.
And then whatever basket,
have a bit of East-West diversification.
Exactly. And then whatever basket you are putting into, you want to make sure it's a well-made one, solid, reliable, not going to break.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, not the basket you're going to choose. And I think that's what
Singapore makes a nice basket.
Singapore makes a great basket. I think Singapore represents that for a lot of the people that are our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right as well. Okay, and I guess it's just really nice for people to see that the metal actually is
it's all here.
It's here. It's real.
It's all here. It's not a green screen,
Absolutely. Okay, well, I have one more question. So we know it is pretty easy to sign up and whatnot, and the KYC is pretty relaxed. How much does it cost to store your bullion here?
So there is no minimum amount that you have to purchase. You can purchase,
which is interesting. I think I'll just jump in quickly because
please.
I think if you start looking at sort of the whole idea of offshoring bullion in another country, it sounds like, that must only be available to rich people, but anyone can do it. at a
Anyone can do
very
it.
low entry price, can't they?
Yes, anyone can do it. You can store as little as a 1 ounce silver coin. Might not be advisable to do that, but you can if you want.
Especially if you just want to test the waters, work out how the system works. Once you get more comfortable, you can sort of maybe put a bit more money in.
Yeah, we have genuinely have customers who do that. They'll sort of start with a small amount, and then they might sell it. They might even sell it at a loss, but they know once the money comes back, they know that they're good. They're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So people do that. So there's no minimum amount to buy, and the storage fees, they start at 19 cents, Singapore dollar, 19 cents a day. That works out to about sort of $70 a year, slightly less than $70 a year.
Yep.
That's sort of where it starts at.
Yep.
Then once you get to the sort of much larger amounts, then there's a percentage calculations. It's available on our website. It's quite
Yeah, it is quite low, and I guess you guys, you work off volume, don't you? That's how you make your money.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. But like considering what you get here, it's not a lot of. It is very affordable for what you get.
Yeah.
As far as the storage
it's a
fee
peace
goes.
of mind, right? I think
Absolutely.
That's what we try.
Yeah, cool. All right, that's all we got for the interview, Crenshaw. Thank you very much for inviting us in here. I really appreciate your time and your team's time and helping us set this up here. I think the viewers are going to enjoy it. I've certainly enjoyed it a lot. And I believe we're going to go have a look over at the shop after this.
Yes, we
over
are.
On Newbridge Road, is it?
45 Newbridge Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll see you there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So here we are at the shop. What do you want to look at?
Let's just take a walk around. If
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we could start off here. This is our sort of little jewelry weighing area. So if you've got a bit of jewelry, you want to come in and see, how much is it worth, how much can you get it if you're selling it. You select your purity, and then you put your little bit on the scale here. You get an estimate. So it's one of the things we do.
Yep.
I guess
Do you do much jewelry?
Yeah, we do. We use an XRF tester and other methods that people come in to sell the jewelry to us.
Yeah, okay.
What some people might do is they bring in jewelry to sell and then they buy bullion because bullion's just easier to keep. You've got the weight and everything there.
It's probably a bit more well suited for investment purposes as well.
Much more well suited for investment purposes. Yeah. Okay. I mean, we do as we were saying, jewelry. This is sort of the jewelry display where we sell jewelry.
Yeah.
So some of the pieces that if customers sell them to us, we may then sort of refurbish them, clean them up nicely and everything, and then we can resell them. So these don't incur GST, but they do fall under the gross margin scheme.
Okay.
For jewelry. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can look at silver bars.
Into the silver.
Yeah. So we've just got some silver bars here, where you're seeing. Speaking to popularity, where you're seeing sort of some holes is where potentially a customer's gone, I want to buy this bar, and those are the last ones left.
Yeah.
So that's popularity for you.
Yeah,
silver.
it's a good sign that
it's a good sign.
Is good.
Yeah. You can see here the Valcumbi ones. We talked about the gold ones. These are the same idea, but silver.
Yeah, where you can break off the small pieces.
Yeah.
What are these items here? They look quite interesting.
So these are called the tombstone bars. They're made by. It's escaping me right now. They're made by Scott Steelman, so we've got the information sort of here. All the displays have this tablet here where you can sort of tap on it, get the pricing and all that. So this is the 10-ounce Scott Steel Tombstone series. So it's kind of an interesting design that people like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of bars here, you've got a lot of coins here.
Yeah.
A lot of silver, a lot of gold. I see a bit of platinum down the back there as well. Even some...
numismatics.
Yeah, what's that all about?
So
coin collecting, is it? Or?
Yeah. So that's where you get into specialized designs. Like we've got like a tarot card kind of design.
Let's go look at that.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Something a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, it starts from over here actually.
Oh, this
so you've got
really nice.
It's really beautiful. So you've got gold numismatics. The Perth Mint does their series. You've got various people that make various coins. This is a 100-gram panda.
Yeah, right.
We've got these Greek gods series, the gods of Olympus.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like this would be quite nice for a gift or something, wouldn't it?
These are very popular for gifts.
Even if it's a gift for yourself.
Exactly. So this is where, we talked about earlier where some of our products do have GST. These would be products that do have GST.
Right.
Because the primary purpose is not investment. It's sort of, you know, a collectible item.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got tons of stuff here.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I guess this is, you know, slightly less interesting, but actually maybe, you know, all sorts of coin accessories. You've got your weighing scales, where you've got your magnifying glass, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
where else do you buy this stuff? So it's
true.
for a serious collector,
Yeah.
you need this stuff, don't you?
No, it's true.
All right, so there you have it, guys. I hope you learned a bit more about what is involved with buying and storing gold securely out in Singapore. As you can see, there is a very high level of security. They have state-of-the-art facilities and a very good customer service along the way. One thing we didn't mention in the video is that you can actually buy with Bitcoin, which some people will be interested in. If you want to learn more about this, head over to our website, offshoreinasia.com, and we've got an affiliate link that we're going to put in this video as well that you can click on if you want to go directly to the Bullion Star website if buying gold out in Singapore is something that you want to do. Thanks for watching. See you on the ground next time.